Our city government is responsible for a great deal of what goes on in Albuquerque, and each of its functions falls under a different department. There are 25 departments in all, and we've already talked about a few of them.
Each department has its own leadership and unique positions, deriving from the simple fact that each department has its own responsibilities and needs. The parks and the police need to be managed differently and are organized to do distinct things for us. What do the museums, the biopark, public art, and the libraries all have in common? They are all covered within the Cultural Services Department.
The Department of Cultural Services is structured as most others are, with a department director and deputy director. There are also 7 division directors with expertise to manage the operations of the various cultural institutions and programs within the department. The department has positions including one devoted solely to special events like Summerfest, a position responsible for Old Town street vendors, and of course the myriad of interesting positions that come from overseeing one of our city's biggest tourist destinations, the Biopark. The Cultural Services Department is one of our most unique departments for many reasons. For one, in Albuquerque, unlike many cities of similar size or larger, many of our best and most popular museums are publicly run. In fact, our Cultural Services Department is one of the biggest in the nation. With 350 full-time permanent and 200 plus temporary and seasonal employees and an operating budget of about $40 million, the Albuquerque Cultural Services Department runs many facilities including 2 public museums, Old Town Plaza and the Portal Vendors, the Chemo Theater, all biopark facilities, the New Mexico Veterans Memorial, and our 18 public libraries. The Cultural Services Department does a lot for Albuquerque and it gets a lot of funding to boot. The biopark alone receives about $17 million a year for capital renovations and expansions. That money comes from a quarter-cent increase in the gross receipt tax that was voted on through referendum, another reason to pay attention to the ballot. Our libraries receive around 17% of their funding directly from the county government. The public art program is funded through a required 1% set aside of all capital expenditures for public art. So how is the department organized? We'll talk about that in the next video.
The Cultural Services Department requires the coordination of many autonomous and semi-autonomous organizations under one body. Many of the facilities within the Cultural Services Department also have their own independent organizational structures. The libraries, the biopark, and each of the public museums have their own organizational structure and expected managerial positions. Heck, the biopark even has one person whose sole job is buying food for the animals. So what are we to make of the monetary and organizational resources that we, Albuquerque, put into this department? Well, it shows how much we as a city care about our cultural assets and keeping them public. The city shows they care about it with funding and logistics. You show you care about it with attendance. So show up.
Visit the Prado and the Plaza, go to a Summerfest, check out an exhibit at a museum, go to the aquarium, see a show at the Chemo, and if the programs need volunteers, volunteer. After all, we are all one Albuquerque.